We are in Memphis. I can't get out of Memphis. We're at the Edge Motorsports. I have a special for you guys today. If you know me, I love cars. And right when you come in, this is what greets you. Model T. Not just any Model T. It's all original.
Hey, Mark. We're just seeing each other regularly. How you doing? Good.
And this is the canister used to gas the lights. There's a hand crank. This is one of the first Tesla prototypes.
Take one for radiator, please.
Oh, shit. Please?
I have no idea. Yeah. The last time I talked to him, he said he would never sell.
Well, I think it might be on the
Yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah. I think he got a better building here, but that's the good one. Yeah, but being right next to something, definitely.
I can get this building over here, start parking restaurants out on the street.
That. Oh, absolutely.
We'll start doing burnouts out here.
Hey, you want to say hey? Thanks.
Later.
All right, man. Good to see you. Always.
Yes, sir.
Interesting story. This interior is made out of python snakes. Over 30 snakes to make this. That's a cooler. You can make ice while you're driving. And this has a lock on it, so you can put liquor up there. There's some white walls, huh? Now, if you get a chance and you're in Memphis, you got to stop by this place. It's called Edge Motorsport. Now this is information about the Ford T car that I showed you, the T Runabout. All right, let's go downstairs. All those radios through time. And that's what they put in the first radios, these vacuum tubes, which didn't hold up to vibrations or heat very well until 1947 when they came out with the transistor. That little thing replaced that big thing. These cars, look at these cars, let's go. Now this building that we're in, this used to be an assembly plant for a car company, which didn't last too long. They only lasted 4 months. But you could see this is all original in this building. This rail here was part of the assembly track. And they would basically just get pieces of the car and then put them together here. That's the difference from an assembly plant and a manufacturing plant, where a manufacturing plant makes all the parts. And this was back in 1920s. So not only do they have a car museum here, but the car museum is inside what used to be an assembly plant for a car manufacturer. Well, I wouldn't even call them that, but a car company that tried to make it that didn't last too long, only 4 months. All right, let's check this out. So, if you want any information on this place, just scan this. All right. Now these are the old detectors and radar detectors, and look at this. Yeah, so there's a fudge buster. Fudge buster. So these are, look at this. Wow. Talk about a scanner. This has got to be one of the first scanners out there. Wow, this is original soapbox right here. This is only one of two cars. No, not this one. No, not this one. I'll show you one of two cars. Hold on. Now this one was a the MG, 1950 MG. That looks fun to drive, right? So it's that. 57 horsepower. Yeah, the colors, this is one of two colors. 2,000 were built in the UK and exported to the US. In 1950. A little motor for the windshield wipers. This is one of two cars made. This is all fiberglass. This is before the Chevy Corvette. Look at this. It's claimed that this fiberglass on this car, this whole car is made out of fiberglass. The whole body. It's claimed that you could throw this off a cliff and you only get a few scratches on it. There's pictures of people standing on top of it, like 12 people at one time. Nothing. And it's thin too. This was made by a person that worked with fiberglass, and GM hired them later on to work with GM to make the Corvette, which is out of fiberglass. So that's how GM got into the fiberglass game, by keeping an eye on this guy that made this car. Only one of two ever made that's still around today. This is priceless. This car is priceless. You can't even put a price tag on this. You want to know what to What's it? Where to start with the price? Look at this. All fiberglass. Now this is the 1953 Glass Bar G2. It's got an 8-cylinder, 200 horsepower. It's got not one, not two, but 3 carburetors. Wow. That's a lot of power for such a light car made out of fiberglass. So here's the production. They made approximately 100 from 1953 for only 2 years. It was a very short-lived car. Only 2 years these were made. And out of 100 that were made, there's only 2 left. This one and the other one is at the Smithsonian Museum. This is very rare to be standing next to this car. And notice there's no doors. You just hop in and hop out. Isn't that crazy? I have a nice grill up there. I like that grill. And then you got the Corvette. And let me give you some more credit to the person that built this. Okay, so he was making boats, fiberglass boats. So that's how he knew how to make fiberglass. So he went from making fiberglass boats to this car here. So the cars were popular with owners. So Humphrey Bogart, Gary Cooper, and Rosemary Clooney bought one of these. Wonder what happened to theirs. Next is in 1954, a year later. 1954 Corvette. Now this is a very modern museum. They have kiosks in front of each car to show you any information you need to know. You just press on the kiosk. They also have a QC scan. They'll let you know more information than what I'm giving you about these cars. You're looking at a 1954 Corvette. The first year the Corvette came out. And this is a 1957 T-Bird. Good old T-Bird. Got a Holly 4-barrel carb, Sync 4matic, 245 horsepower, and 312 engine. They made 21,000 of these. Now these cars are owned by actual people. This isn't owned by the museum. These cars are owned by the car owners that own these cars. They make an agreement with the museum to leave their cars here, and then the museum can restore or do whatever the owner wants, any work they want done. The gentleman named Bill here knows everything about these cars. He's been more than informative with me. I think I spent the last half hour before starting the stream just talking with him about some of these cars. So this is the 59 Corvette. It's had a 283, 270 horse. Got a 4-barrel dual quad carb. And they made, this is number 8825 out of 9,000. So they made 9,670 of these. And the price back then was only $4,000. Back in 1959. I like that color. That silver. That's my favorite color for a car. Next, we have the Avanti. 1963 Studebaker Avanti. Not too many of these around. Got 289, 240 horse, 4-barrel carb, and a 3-speed auto. You got 4,643 of these. The price back in 1963 was $4,400. Now it was supposed to say Studebaker, but it wasn't ready in time, and Studebaker lost out. Oh, look at this bad boy here. Oh, love that. 1967 Chevy Stingray Corvette. Now this is an interesting car. This ain't just any Shelby GT500. No. This one has a police interceptor engine in it, which is basically a race car engine. This engine in here, the Cobra. This engine here, let me show you. 1967 has a 427 engine. Only one of 6 built. Only one of 6 built. 485 horsepower. Two Holly carbs. Now, they made 2,000 of these Shelby GT500s, but the one you're looking at is only one of 6 with this engine that was ever built. This engine was so powerful you could take it to a racetrack. You know why? Because the back seat, back then, if you took it to a racetrack, they say you can't have back seat. They made the back seat folding. So you could fold down the seat and be qualified to race. See, the back seat is folded. So that got the owner into qualification for races. There's one sick puppy. Look at this. Oh, I would love to hear this start up. I can only imagine what it sounds like. And here's another Shelby. Now this one is a year later. So you have the 67 here and the 68 here. You can see they did a lot of different work on the front here. I like the 67 better than 68, the front. I don't know. It just looks meaner. This looks a little more like sissy, even when they look right next to each other. So this is a 68. It came with a Corvette V8. Less horsepower than this. About 100 less horsepower. There's the full specs there. 4-barrel Holly. Interior, the color is ginger. Nah, some people would call it brown, but Ford called it ginger. And the outside, they called it Acapulco blue. And back then, it cost you $4,600 back in 1968. Next, we've got another Corvette. This one, people are probably more familiar with, Stingray. See a lot of these on the streets even today. 1969, Chevy Corvette Stingray. And it's sporting a 427 V8, 435 horsepower, running three carburetors, three 2-barrel carburetors. There are 38,000 of these made. 38,000 of these made. 1969. So we're going in chronological order here with the cars. I love this spinning car. Okay, next, Pontiac. Who doesn't love Pontiac GTOs, huh? No, this ain't a GTO though. This is a Firebird Trans Am. That's right, 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Trans Ams were popular for many years, many decades. And this one is one that started it all. It's got a 400 cubic inch V8, 345 horsepower. And it's got a 4-barrel carb. They only made 697 of these back in 1969 with a price tag of about $4,500. So, you know, with the success of the GTO, they established themselves as a leader in boldness and performance in the mid-60s. So there was a lot of competition back then between these car companies. You know, you had Pontiac that introduced their version of Chevy's new Mustang, which was the Camaro. So to compete with the Camaro, Pontiac came out with to compete with the Mustang, with Ford Mustang, Pontiac came out with the Camaro. Just to get an example of how competitive the marketplace was for the mid to late 60s for car companies and muscle cars. This is a Boss 302 Mustang. Now, which would you rather have? Just by looks. Just by looks only. One on the left or one on the right? I would go with the one on the left for looks. Only because this headlight looks like it's out of place somehow. Like it's missing something. I don't know. This is 1970 Ford Boss 302 cubic inch engine, V8, 290 horsepower. Not much horsepower in this. It looks like it's a big bad boy, but with horsepower, yeah, it's really ain't got too much. Almost 200,000 of these were made. And the price tag was lower because they had a smaller engine, of course, so it was only $3,300 back then. That's why a lot of people back then in 1970 bought these because they were affordable. It was $1,000 less, and $1,000 in 1970. If you could save $1,000 on a car, that was a huge savings. You know. Oh, here's the real deal. Right here. Look at this right here. The 1970 Dodge Challenger RT. So Dodge is on the left and Ford is on the right. The same year, I would take the one on the left. I love this front end of the Challenger. It just looks so beefy. It scoops in for airflow to get in. Awesome condition too. Okay, so this one got sporting a 426 V8 Hemi, 425 horsepower, 76,000 made, price tag of $4,800. But what you're looking at right in front of you, right here today, this is only one of 12 cars with the 428 in a convertible. Only 12 out of 76,000 that they made. Only 12 that were convertibles had the 426 Hemi. See, you may never see a car like this car, the convertible with the 426 Hemi, ever, anywhere, but right here. This is one bad car. Look at that. Look how small the mirrors are. Little tiny mirrors. Now, let's keep going. Let's take a look at this. Look at the doors on this car. They slide. The doors don't open when you pull it. They slide. Now it has a small grill because it has a little air dam down here to help cool the engine off. Right there. There's the sliding door. How cool is that? So this is a 1954 Kaiser Dark. Only 90 horsepower. Not much. Small engine, 161 cubic inches. 6-cylinder. Only 435 made. $3,600 price tag back in 1954. Was a lot of money for a lot of people. But this is only one out of 435 ever made. Let's go back here. Love this car. This is the 1957 NASCAR Grand National Series at Daytona Beach that you're watching. They have a video of it. Here's how rims have changed over the years, starting with the wooden spoke rim, going to steel, going into more of a full steel design. There's a Chevy. There's a Krager. Kragers were popular with muscle cars. And this is like today. What do we have here? Oh. Did that car just turn on by itself? What the hell? Wow. Look at this. Oh, that sounded good. Did you hear that? The exhaust was good. Perfectly tuned exhaust. That was a perfectly tuned exhaust on.
I hope that was okay.
Oh yeah, no, it sounded great. I was like, what's going on? Should I go get Bill? The car just turned on. So you turned it on remote, huh?
Yeah, we watch people on the cameras. We usually wait till they get right behind it.
Okay. So.
Well, sometimes they'll like reach over because they want to touch it. That's when we fire it off.
So this is Bill.
Bob.
Why do I keep saying Bill?
I don't know.
You remind me of a Bill. This is Bob. He's here at your down here in Memphis at the Motor Museum here. Edge Motor Museum here in Memphis, and they're open every day. Come on by. And what are the hours?
During the week, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock to 5, usually. And on Saturdays, 11 to 3. On Sunday, 12 to 4.
Okay. And then a little admission, but it's well worth it. It's $10 admission. Now, Bob is not just some guy that's just like hanging out here waiting for people to come in the door. Okay. He's got so much knowledge about these cars. And we were talking before I started the live stream. And he does the restorations on these cars himself. Okay? Yes, I said that. He does the restorations on the cars himself. He owns 4 Model Ts. That Model T that you seen when we first walked in, that's one of his cars. And this is one that looks like they're restoring here. I have no clue what I'm looking at. So he said that they wait on the camera until people go around the back of the car, and then they start it with the remote. That's funny. This scares the people. That's one badass Corvette there. Now this little guy looks like they put shoe polish on or something. Numbers. Look at that little tiny engine. Almost, I think some motorcycles have a bigger engine than that. It's a little car. Reminds me of those tune cars, those Disney tune cars. Anyways, look at this. That's one bad Corvette right here. I like the color inside. It's got the tan everywhere. All right, again, if you want to find out more information that maybe I didn't explain right, scan this QC code, or you could go to their website. It's Edge Motor Museum for more information. This is a wrap. I'm going to be heading off on the road again, leaving Memphis, Tennessee. Next stop is sleeping over is going to be in Texas. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. There's that back seat folded down I was talking about. Well, I hope you enjoyed the walk through here like I did. If you're a car enthusiast and you get up to Memphis or anywhere near Memphis, don't forget to stop by. We also have a gift store here. All right, I'm going to stop now. Thanks again, everyone, for joining or doing the replay.